Yo, bros. All right. I thought this was an interesting clip, so I wanted to share with you guys. Let's react to it.
And complain about women and hookup culture and this, that, and the third. What if men just raise your standards and you guys stop sleeping with everyone? Then maybe your lives wouldn't be so difficult. You keep complaining about, oh, this and that in the hookup culture and saying that we control hookup culture. How about you guys stop sleeping with everybody and that'll be the fix you
Well,
want to
here's
see?
here's the
So I
difference
don't.
I would kind of point out to that. You say you guys, but what I would argue is when it comes to hookup culture, it's actually a fairly small proportion of men that you could say are responsible. So I think what's going on in hookup culture is you have women who are chasing after the top 10, top 20% of men. They're sleeping with all the women, and then the rest of the guys are lonely.
No, I would say there's more men who are indulging in casual sex than women are.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the reverse. The men that are able to regularly get casual sex is a much smaller cohort of people compared to like almost any woman. Even if she's overweight, she can be in hookup culture. I would argue like a overweight man, he doesn't have access to hookup culture.
You guys love to say and complain about women and
This is a thing where where women are so deluded. This is why a lot of women can't really give. This is why a lot of women's opinions and thoughts and ideologies and mindset about the dating market is most of the time off. Most of the time doesn't make sense. Most of the time it's not relatable. It's not applicable. It's really just you don't make sense and you prove it with the shit you say. Because here's the thing where a lot of women uh create their ideas because of the men they're into, the men that they deal with. Not knowing the men that they deal with, the men that they're into, they are essentially a select few men. So let's say example, women that want high value men. Women think that, oh my God, these high value men, all they want is just women to obey them, be submissive, and all this stuff. Okay. And then they say men just want that. No, because you don't understand high value men in that particular example is a small, incredibly small percent of men. Just like let's say women that you know what only deal with athletes or rappers. They only deal with these men, and then they say, "Oh my God, these men are womenizers. These men are cheaters." But no, it's not men. It's the small percent of men. Because why should you distinguish this? Because when you think about it, hypothetically, the men that women talk to is one man. Hypothetically, one man. But when you only deal with one man, then you say men. It don't make sense that one man represents, let's say, 100 men. That's more like kind of like the ratio. You only know what one man does with you. You only know how what it's like dating one man. Yet you let that experience dealing with one man dictate what it's like to deal with all men or most men. And that is the problem. That is a problem where women's mindset, talking points, ideology is it don't make sense because what you're saying, oh, and we'll probably dig deep with this one, is that oh my God, men are this, men are that. But are they? Are they? Because you don't know. Most women don't date that many men. Most women, you may think that okay, these women are, let's say, they deal with hookup culture, but in reality, let's say she has a body count of 100 men, but in all honesty, 100 men means what? When populations of cities are hundreds of thousands of men. And here's the thing where it might be a shocking thing, but most women are dealing with the same type of man. Most women are sleeping with the same man, same type of men. So really, even your, may say your 100 bodies, 200 bodies. But if you compare it with other women, you can probably, mix and match. You can probably, oh, I've done that man too. Oh, I've done that man too. It's like women don't realize a lot of them are having sex with the same man. So, so it makes their viewpoint even less reliable, less, you know, applicable. Because honestly, you can't use such a small number of men to represent such a huge demographic. Men. So let's break this thing down a bit.
Hookup culture and this, that, and the third. What if men just raise your standards and you guys love to say and complain about women and hookup culture and this, that, and the third. What if men just raise your standards and you guys stop sleeping with everyone? Then maybe your lives wouldn't be so difficult. You keep
Statistically, there are more men that are virgins, more men that are haven't had sex in the last year or so than there are women that are the same. Most men aren't in the hookup culture. Most men aren't you know, having fun in the hookup culture. Most men aren't. Most men don't get the opportunity. Most men are just not, I guess, I don't know if I call it privileged or, but they don't have the opportunities to indulge in the hookup culture. Most men are, most men aren't having, because this is the thing where we also maybe distinguish kind of different stuff, because hookup culture, in my opinion, is those men having sex with no stipulations, no strings attached, going on dates, having first night, hook up the first night, or having just a bunch of sexual partners. It's different between, like, let's say the men that paid for it. Okay, so it is just, it's not the same. It really is not.
complaining about, oh, this and that in the hookup culture and saying that we control hookup culture. How about you guys stop sleeping with everybody and that'll be the fix you
Well,
want to see?
Here's the problem. Okay, the men that have the ability to sleep with everybody isn't many men. It's like this is the thing where women don't understand the power they have. Most women find most men unattractive. That is shown through dating app statistics. Most women aren't into most men. They don't find most men attractive. So to say that, you guys as men having control is like sleeping with most women. No, no. Most men will be lucky to even find one woman to sleep with, to find one woman that wants to sleep with him. So this is the thing where it is women that are controlling hookup culture. They dictate who they want to sleep with. They dictate how many times this man can get to sleep with her. Men do not get that chance. Men in general don't have that ability. It's just so out of touch a lot of times. That's why I view women's ideology, their mindset, their talking points as such delusion. It's just like you really are not grounded. You're not grounded in reality. Most men don't have the ability to sleep with many, many women. Most men, in a lifetime, uh, let's say without paying for it, maybe slept with 10 women, under 20 women at most. Most men. So, wow, 20, a body count of 20, shoot, she did that in her 20s.
Here's the difference
don't-
I would kind of point out to that. You say you guys, but what I would argue is when it comes to hookup culture, it's actually a fairly small proportion of men that you could say are responsible. So I think what's going on in hookup culture is you have women who are chasing after the top 10, top 20% of men. They're sleeping with all the women, and then the rest of the guys are lonely.
No,
Maybe
I
they're-
would say there's more men who are indulging in.
More men. Because here's the thing. If I was on this panel, you can tell that most of these women, if not all of them, would not sleep with me. You can see the pickiness of women. But here's the thing where it shows you that they are. This is a thing where women don't understand how. No, because most men wouldn't have a chance with you. So you would think most men are having chances with a lot of women? Because most of these women, all of these women, would not sleep with just any man. Would not just sleep with any random man. So really, it's like, you think men in general have chances with women like that? They don't. Women are so picky, which is kind of ridiculous, since they consistently pick wrong, but they're so picky. So you think that men, average men, men in general, even below average men, have that much opportunity with women? No, you don't. Women, women are so deluded. They know the reality that they are picky. So they don't just pick any man. Okay? And let's say the man that they do pick, guess what? That man, most women would pick him as well. Women never seem to realize that. The man that you would want to sleep with, I guarantee you, many, if not most women, would want to sleep with him as well.
In casual sex than women are.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the reverse. The men that are able to regularly get casual sex is a much smaller cohort of people compared to like almost any woman. Even if she's overweight, she can be in hookup culture. I would argue like a overweight man, he doesn't have access to hookup culture.
You guys love.
That's the thing why I said this before. Why I have more sympathy for men than women when it comes to the dating market. Because even the worst of women, whether you're fat, skinny, ugly, pretty, old, young, you will always have options. There will always be men, whether it's 1, 2, a dozen, 100, whatever. There will always be men that will clamor to be with you, whether sexually, in relationship, whatever, but they will at least clamor to be with you in whatever form. Now, for men, no. For men to even have options, he has to go after it. And that doesn't guarantee him having options. She wouldn't even look his way. That's the thing. Where like women, like, I guess they don't value that as, oh, men will want to sleep with you. Yes, not necessarily as an option, but still, he would still want to be with you in whatever form. Women wouldn't even want to look in men's way. Women wouldn't even spit on men if he were on fire. If she find him a creep, whatever, she would not. Most men are invisible to women. So that's why I'm more sympathetic towards men, because men have to make options happen. But even trying to make it, there's no guarantee of an option coming out of it. So dating for men and women are drastically different. It is insanely easy for women. It is literally on easy mode. Really, it's an easy mode game. For men, it is on nightmare mode. The highest difficulty possible for most men. For most men, it is on high level difficulty, nightmare mode. So, but that's the thing where when you're privileged, like women are in the dating market, how would you understand the people that aren't? How would you? You assume that, oh, since I'm so privileged, maybe other people have it easy as well. No, just because you're so privileged, you can't imagine difficulties. You can't imagine the other side because you've never been there. You've never been on the other side. So that is the delusion. And honestly, why women's ideology, at least in dating, doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And for women more in their prime, their younger years, their years where they're more beautiful, they definitely won't understand it. And they definitely won't be able to ever understand it until they pass the wall, until they get to the point where they are either tiptoeing onto the other side or they're already on the other side. Right? When they're like maybe well past their prime, well past anything special about them, where they are having difficulties, not like, again, even if you're older, even if whatever, you still have options, but when it's more difficult, then you feel like, oh wow, I'm either on the other side or I'm close to the other side and I understand it. But now when they're in their prime, of course they wouldn't give a shit. They want to know it. So yeah. What do you guys think?